Dear students, I am Ruchika Sharma from Cambridge International School, Dasua. I am your geography teacher. I hope this e-learning initiative of our school is helping you in the best possible way. But initiative from your side must be there. That is, you need to sit and study for at least 6 to 7 hours a day, just the way you used to do in school. Students, as you have already completed 2 chapters of your book, that is chapter number 1, India size and location, and chapter number 2, physical features of India. Now we are going to start new chapter of your book, chapter number 3, whose title is drainage. But before starting drainage, you have to go through what we have learned in chapter number 2, physical features of India, so that you will be able to know more about chapter number 3. So let's revise once. In chapter number 2, whose title is physical features of India, you have studied how Gondwana landmass was divided into pieces and which led to the emergence of Himalayan mountains. Not only Himalayan mountains, peninsular plateaus and northern plains are also part of it. In total, physiographic divisions of India are 6. That are the Himalayan mountains, the northern plains, the peninsular plateau, the Indian desert, the coastal plains, and the islands. Out of these, only 2 we are going to study today, since these are the base of chapter 3. Let's talk about the Himalayan mountains first. The Himalayas, geologically young and structurally fold mountains, stretch over the northern borders of India. These mountain ranges run in a west-east direction from the river Indus to the river Brahmaputra. In short, in the Himalayan mountains, the river Indus, the river Brahmaputra. In between these, the river Ganga. 3 rivers are there. Now, let's talk about the peninsular plateau. The peninsular plateau is a tableland composed of the old igneous and metamorphic rocks. It was formed due to the breaking and drifting of the Gondwana land, and thus making it a part of the oldest landmass. The plateau has broad and shallow valleys and rounded hills. This plateau consists of 2 broad divisions, namely the Central Highlands and the Deccan Plateau. The part of the peninsular plateau lying to the north of the Narmada River, covering a major area of the Malwa Plateau, is known as the Central Highlands. And the Deccan Plateau is a triangular landmass that lies to the south of the river Narmada. In Peninsular Plateau, along with river Narmada, there are few other rivers like Kaveri, Krishna, Mahadev River, etc. So basically, students, what I have tried to explain that the land form that you have studied in chapter 2, that is mountain and plateau, in both the landforms there are different rivers, because of which they are fertile or they have got their major features. That is why reading or learning about rivers are important. So in chapter 3 we are going to study everything about rivers only. That is why they have been named or have given Chapter 3, the title Drainage. Now, without wasting time, let's start Chapter 3, Drainage. Basically, drainage involves study of rivers. There are two terminologies associated with rivers that I am going to use. First is tributary and second is distributary. You should all know the difference between tributary and distributary. Tributary is a stream flowing into the large river and thus increasing the water volume of the main river, while distributary is a stream or river which flows away from a large river and it decreases the volume of water of the main river. Basically, tributary means adding to the river, stream adding up to the river, while distributary means dividing the river into different streams or rivers. I hope you are able to know about meaning of tributary and distributary. Tributary means tributing in the river, like you can see in the picture. Small stream is adding into the river, while distributary means dividing the river into small streams. Students, you will be able to understand about rivers, basically drainage system in India, which has main two divisions: Himalayan River System of India and Peninsular River System of India. And in the last of this chapter, you will be able to understand significance of rivers and lakes in every economy. So, topics that we are going to begin with are drainage basin, drainage system in India, and you will be given very brief introduction of Himalayan rivers and peninsular rivers. So without wasting time, let's start. First of all, just understand the meaning of drainage so that you will be able to know why this chapter has been given the title Drainage. Drainage describes the river system of an area, that how many rivers are flowing in an area and what are its tributary, distributary, pattern of flowing, and everything about rivers. That is why this chapter has been given name Drainage, since in this chapter you are going to learn only about river system. One more terminology that is very important in this chapter is drainage basin, which means the area drained by a single river system. In other words, the area on the earth's surface which is drained by a single river system is called drainage basin or river basin. Next, very important topic is water divide. You all should know the meaning of water divide. I have shown you one picture that is also given in your NCERT book. Listen very carefully. This is the topic that might be in question papers. Any elevated area which separates two drainage basins is known as a water divide. In other words, the relief feature which separates the two river basins is called water divide or the watershed. Both are synonyms. As you can see in the picture, two rivers, basically two streams, stream A and stream B, are given. But both the streams are divided. They are not combined, they are separated And how they are separated? With a water divide. Now look at the part where water divide is written. You can see water divide is shown at a height. In other words, this is an elevated area, a higher area in height as compared to both the streams. So it can be mountain, right? It can be any upland. Therefore, any upland or mountain or any other relief feature that separates two rivers is called water divide. Basically, that divides the streams or rivers into parts are called water divide, or even they are called watershed. In short, meaning of water divide becomes any elevated area such as a mountain or an upland separates two drainage basins. Such an upland is known as a water divide. Now let's talk about the world's largest drainage basin, that is the Amazon River. In other words, Amazon River has the largest area which is drained by a river in the whole world. And if we talk about India, then that is Ganga River Basin. Ganga is the river which has largest area of drainage in India. You can see in the picture both river basins are shown. You can have a moment to look at these. The next topic that is we are going to read in detail is main courses of a river. This is the topic that you must have done in your previous classes. Let's just revise once so that you will be able to understand Himalayan and peninsular rivers more deeply. So, there are three main courses of a river. These are the upper course, the middle course, and the lower course. Now, let's study each of these. You can see in the picture, upper course is given, which signifies the source of a river, and it is steep in nature. And if we look out at middle course, then this is comparatively occurs when a river leaves the hilly area and enters into a plain. The slope of the riverbed is less on a plain, hence the speed of the current is also low. And in the picture, the last one is shown as lower course. Now we are going to study each of these in detail. See, this is a picture of a river whose source is from mountains. Starting from source and emerging into a sea, there are three courses of a river: upper course, middle course, and lower course. Upper course. In the mountainous course, a river passes through a steep slope. Its water therefore rushes down with great speed. Under such a condition, the water can dig the riverbed very deeply and carries on, pulls down heavy pebbles. Erosion and transportation are the main activities of a river in the upper course. Next, we have the middle course. As a river leaves the hilly area and enters into a plain, its middle course started. The slope of the riverbed is less on a plain, hence the speed is also less as compared to upper course. The river is fed by many tributaries and its volume of water is increased accordingly. As water flow is slow, therefore erosional activities or transportational activities cannot be undertaken here. You can see the shape of the river in middle course is curvy. You can see curves, and these curves are known as meanders. The water flowing through a meander normally strikes on its concave sides and erodes it. Thus, meanders that are curvy rivers are the main features of river in middle course. Now, let's talk about lower course of a river. The last part of a river near its mouth is called the lower course. In this part, the slope of the riverbed is not very steep. The current is also very slow. Deposition is the main activity of a river at this state. The silt and other materials carried by the river are deposited here. The river channel is blocked very often and new branch channels are dug out. These branch channels are basically distributaries. One very important feature of river in lower course is an Oxbow Lake. An Oxbow Lake is a U-shaped lake that forms when a wide meander of a river is cut off, creating a free-standing body of water. You can see in the picture, Oxbow Lake is written when U-shaped lake is formed out of a meander and it may be separated or combined. The next very important feature is delta of lower course. At the mouth, which reflects the end of a river, there is often a river delta, a large silty area where the river splits into many different slow-flowing channels, and they have muddy banks. The photograph shows the sediment that river deposits at the mouth, that is when the river ends. So basically, lower course has two main features. One is Oxbow Lake, that is a lake which has got separated to meanders, and the next is delta. When river is going to get emerged into sea, that is river is going to get ended, it forms deltas. Basically, river dividing itself into different small channels is called delta, which is very muddy, and all silts are deposited here, brought in by river. You can have a moment to look at the photograph and divide the river into three main courses of river that you just have read now. You can have a look at meanders, upper course, middle course, lower course, Oxbow Lake if any, and deltas formed by river, etc. Just go through once. As you have studied all about river and its concept, tributary, distributary, courses of river, river basin or drainage basin, water divide. Now let's talk about drainage system in India. The drainage systems of India are mainly controlled by the broad relief feature of the subcontinent. Accordingly, the Indian rivers are divided into two major groups, the Himalayan rivers and the peninsular rivers. Now we are going to read in brief an introduction of the Himalayan rivers and the peninsular rivers. The Himalayan river systems mainly include the basin areas of the Indus, the Ganga and the Brahmaputra rivers. While if we talk about peninsular rivers, then the east flowing rivers of the peninsular India are the Mahanadi river, the Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri river, while west flowing are the Narmada, Tapi and numerous small streams. Now let's talk about features of the Himalayan rivers and the peninsular rivers. The Himalayan river systems have great socio-economic and cultural importance in the life of the Indians. Most of the Himalayan rivers are perennial, that is, they have water throughout the year. These rivers are fed by rains during the monsoon season and also by the melting of snow during the summer season. The Himalayan rivers have long courses and continuously perform intensive erosional activity. Most of these rivers are older than the mountains they traverse. The erosional and depositional work of the Himalayan rivers is evident from the huge amount of sand and silt deposited by these rivers annually. They also form meanders, Oxbow lakes, and many other depositional features in their floodplains. The Himalayan rivers also build well-developed deltas. On the other hand, the Indian peninsula is traversed by a large number of rivers which have existed for a longer period than the Himalayan rivers. Most of the peninsular rivers have reached a maturity stage of development. Particularly in the lower parts of their valleys, these rivers have broad and shallow valleys and do not form meanders. They have almost fixed courses. The Western Ghat is the main water divide in the peninsular India. Most of the rivers originate from the eastern slopes of the Western Ghats and flow eastwards and flow in, or you can say fall into the Bay of Bengal after forming big deltas at their mouths. The east flowing rivers that I have already told you and west flowing rivers I have already enlisted. West flowing rivers flow into the Arabian Sea. The drainage basin of the peninsular river is much smaller than those of the Himalayan river. Now, difference between peninsular river and Himalayan river is written on the slide. You have 1 minute to go through the difference. Students, you are supposed to learn the difference between the Himalayan and peninsular rivers. Now, I am going to list the main river system of India that we are going to study in detail in our video lessons later on. So let's just enlist the rivers right now. I'm going to divide the river system into two broad headings. The first one is the Himalayan rivers. In Himalayan rivers, we are going to read about the Indus river system, the Ganga river system, and the Brahmaputra river system. As I have already told you, the Himalayan ranges run from river Indus to river Brahmaputra, and in between we have given river Ganga. After the Himalayan river, we have another broad heading, that is the peninsular rivers. We already know that the Narmada Basin, that means the Narmada river, divides the plateau into two parts, the Central Highlands and the Deccan Plateau. North side is the Central Highlands, and to the south of Narmada river we have Deccan Plateau. After Narmada Basin, we are going to read in detail the Tapi Plateau, the Mahanadi Basin, the Godavari Basin, the Krishna Basin, and the Kaveri Basin. So, this was it for today. What we have taught you today are drainage basin, the water divide, three courses of river, upper, middle, and lower, and the last is drainage system in India, which is divided into Himalayan river system and the peninsular river system. Till then, keep working, keep yourself fit and healthy. See you soon.